There are people who say that the company cannot survive without you.
I don't think that's true. Yeah.
There are people who say the company cannot survive with you.
Haha, that's hilarious.
They say it because of the way you acted over the summer,
Yeah.
doing things that seemed impulsive, un-CEO-ish.
Well, first of all, I am somewhat impulsive, and I don't really want to try to adhere to some CEO template.
All right, y'all. So we're back on the road. That was Elon Musk, who just this past week has surpassed Jeff Bezos as the richest man in the world. He surpassed Amazon about a couple of weeks ago. He was $11 billion behind him. Now he surpassed Jeff Bezos, and Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla Motors, is now the richest man in the world. So we've got a few things to cover. We'll talk about Elon Musk's status, what that means for Tesla Motors. I've got a portfolio update for you guys, and we're going to dive into some frequently asked questions that I'm asked. So, as you already know, let's get into this. I'm currently sitting at just under $7,500 in portfolio value. We see as of last trading day Friday, our portfolio went down just under $14. But as we already know, when we're doing long-term investing, we're doing dividend investing, we don't get swayed by today's gains and losses too much unless it's just a complete collapse of your portfolio. So don't let this number shake you guys. It goes up, it goes down, and that's just the nature of the game when you're doing long-term investing. All right, but let's take a quick look though. Let's take a quick look at what this almost $7,500 portfolio means in terms of my dividend scorecard. So here we go. Here's my dividend scorecard. The exact amount that I'm getting at this moment in time annually is $432.97. That's a monthly average of just over $36, weekly average of $8.32, and a daily average of $1.18. And this really stokes me out because that means every 24 hours, every day that I wake up, on average, I'm getting $1.18 paid to me passively. Not doing anything. This is just me owning shares of companies that pay dividends. No matter what goes on, I'm getting $1.18 every single day that I wake up. And this is extremely important because the goal is to get these numbers high enough to pay for my entire lifestyle and expenses and things of that nature. So I'm very excited that I'm at the mark now where every time I wake up, I'm getting $1.18. So now the question becomes, what can I do, or what can you do, or what can anybody do to increase their dividend income portfolio, and more importantly, help accelerate the journey and getting to this road to $1 million, to get into that $1 million, whether it's the net worth or $1 million in cash, or just getting to that $1 million. And so you can kind of think of your side hustles, right, as your side streets, your alternative routes, or your different avenues on getting to that road to $1 million. Now, your primary income, right, your primary income that you use to get to your $1 million, that's your main route. That's the primary road that you're taking. But sometimes your primary income, it slows down. You know, that's the traffic buildup, life kind of gets in the way, or it just doesn't move as efficiently as you need it to. So when you determine side hustles, or you recognize side hustles, we can call these like side streets or your alternative routes or different avenues, right? You hear a lot of people say you need to have multiple streams of income. And at the very, very beginning, it may be hard to find multiple streams of passive income. But what I want you to recognize is that there are several forms of active income that you can easily get to or get into, and these are some of the ones, or these are most of the ones that I apply without fail every week or every month. These forms of active income, I use them to increase and add to my dividend income portfolio value. So as many of you already know, I do Uber Eats from time to time on the side, mainly on the weekends. My passion is photography. I have a whole Courtesy Photography Instagram page you guys can check out. I also, if I discover that there's things around the house that I haven't been using, that I haven't been wearing, things that I can make some money off of, I sell them on Poshmark or Mercari or eBay. You know, I've sold camera equipment, I've sold shoes, I've sold jewelry, I've sold accessories, things like that. I've done options trading and swing trading, as well as dividend reinvesting. And I'm going to do specified episodes on each of these, but I want to talk really briefly about this past week. What was the best side hustle? What was the best side street, the alternative route that helped boost me on this road to $1 million, which is options trading? That's what helped add a lot of value to my portfolio this past week. And that is the reason why I showed that clip of Elon Musk at the beginning of this video. And that's because in options trading, I did a couple options plays, and the main one was this one here. You see the screenshot of an options call that I did for Tesla, where I bought a contract for $1,020 and I sold it about 30 minutes later for $1,875. So from $1,000 to $1,800, I made about $850 doing an options call on Tesla Motors. And that's the reason why I showed Elon at the beginning of this video, kind of recognizing and identifying him becoming the richest man in the world, and how that played into my dividend growth portfolio, my road to $1 million. Just basically using this side street, using this different avenue to help boost my progress. I did an options call for Tesla, made $850. I'll take a portion of that, maybe about a third or half of it, add it to my portfolio come the market open on Monday, and use that to boost up my progress on my road to $1 million. So I'm not going to go into exactly what options trading is, but I do want you guys to recognize that it is one of the many ways that I use to add to my portfolio value, my portfolio income, so we can identify these side hustles, right? These side hustles as side streets, they're alternative routes, they're different avenues to help you get to where you need to go. And we know that we're on this road to $1 million. So I just want you guys to be cognizant that these are the different ones. I will be doing episodes on these each individually about how I use them in adding to my road to $1 million portfolio value and passive income. But this past week, the star of all of this was options trading. I was able to make $850 in a day. I'll be adding that to the portfolio value, and I'll be going into individual episodes for each one of those side streets, each one of those side hustles, and how I use them on my road to $1 million. All right, so now I want to chop it up and focus in on last week's or my recent frequently asked questions that I got. And I'm really happy that I've got these questions, because I'm seeing that at least those of you guys that are finding out about me, that are getting exposed to this road to $1 million journey, passive income, dividend income, a lot of you are younger and younger, and that really makes me happy, really makes me smile to see that we've got some young cats out here. We got young people starting to take a proactive approach earlier in their life to getting passive income, to building wealth. So these were the recently frequently asked questions that I got. I got these questions asked, and it's letting me know that a lot of us have never bought a stock before, never signed up with a brokerage before. So I want to cover these basic frequently asked questions that I was asked last week and kind of go into just a bit of detail about them. So the questions that I was asked was, do I have to be 18? How can I buy stocks/shares of a company? What is a dividend? How can I tell if a company pays a dividend? And how can I sign up to receive a dividend? And to answer that first question, you don't have to be 18, but that is said with a caveat. It's said with kind of like a little asterisk next to it. While you don't have to be 18 to start buying stocks and getting shares of companies and getting dividend income, if you are under the age of 18, the most straightforward and clean way to do this is to have your parent or guardian set up what's known as a custodial account. And then the day that you turn 18, they would transfer that custodial account that was set up for you into your name. You would take control of it, and then you can start choosing what stocks are bought, where the dividends are paid to, things of that nature. So you don't have to be 18, but I do urge, I tell people to hey, if you're going to be turning 18 in a few months, you can just wait, continue to save your money, do your research, and as soon as you turn 18, you can sign up for the account, and it'll automatically be in your name and your control. Now, if you're over a year out from turning 18, if you're 17 and younger with more than a year to go before you become 18 years old, then I definitely would have you sit down with your parent or your guardian, have them sign up to get you a custodial account. They would be the ones to kind of quote unquote, establish the account. But of course, you can work with them on what shares and stock of what companies you want purchased. So point blank, you don't have to be 18, but there are certain cases time frame wise where it'll probably be better for you just to wait until you are 18 to sign up with these brokerages directly. And that leads us to the next question. How can I buy stocks and shares of a company? And the way that you buy stocks or shares of a company are through what are called, or what's known as, brokerage firms or brokerage accounts, stock brokers. So they're kind of like the middleman. You know, you've got your company, you've got Coca-Cola, you've got McDonald's, you've got Walmart. These companies, they sell stock, they sell shares of their company, and you want to buy them. Now, in order to be able to buy them, you have to sign up with a brokerage, a firm. And there are many firms out there. There are plenty. Some of the big name ones are E-Trade, M1 Finance, Fidelity, Charles Schwab, so on and so forth. We'll take a quick look at those. I'm going to do an in-depth video, another video showing what to look for in an in-depth company, and which one should you choose, which one do I choose, things of that nature. The next question that I was asked a lot last week was, what is a dividend? And if you don't know, you can just look at it like this. A dividend is basically your reward, your payment for being a shareholder, for owning and holding stock in a company. So companies that do pay dividends, they'll look at their profits on a quarterly, monthly, or yearly basis, and they say, hey, who's all of our owners? Because we want to reward them with a dividend payment for being shareholders, for being owners. So you can look at a dividend as just being the reward. And that leads us into, how can you tell if a company can or does pay dividends? How can I tell if a company pays dividends? I was asked that question a few times, and I just want to show you guys really quickly how you can tell if a company is paying dividends. One of the ways that you can tell if a company is paying dividends is by going to a finance website. So if you've been following me for a little bit of a while now, you guys are probably tired of me hearing me say this, but the number one place that I go to, the number one place that I start is Seeking Alpha. That's the first beginning step. You know, the first step is going to Seeking Alpha to analyze, you know, if a company pays dividends and what do their financials look like in terms of paying that dividend out. So step one, if you want to know if a company is paying dividends, you want to go to a finance website. There's Seeking Alpha, there's Yahoo Finance, there's Google Finance, and once you sign up with a brokerage, you know, like I said, Fidelity, E-Trade, Charles Schwab, M1 Finance, all of your brokerage firms will tell you too whether or not a company is paying dividends. And in short, all you really want to look for is the little dividend section. So we'll take a quick look, right? As we see here in front of us, we've got the Coca-Cola company, and we want to check out whether or not Coke just pays dividends. And here on Seeking Alpha, we'll click the dividends button here, and we see right here, last announced dividend in this section, that they last announced a dividend of 41 cents on October 15th with a payout date of December 15th. So this lets you know if there's a number here on Seeking Alpha that the company does pay dividends. Now, another website we can check out is Yahoo Finance, right? So this is Yahoo Finance, and we can put in a company name like Tesla. We'll put in Tesla, and we can see whether or not Tesla pays dividends. And what we got here is ex-dividend date not applicable, forward dividend and dividend yield not applicable. And so when you see not applicable, or if you see tick marks, little dashes, that lets you know that the company is not paying dividends. So that's a quick way to tell. You can just go to a finance website, type in the company name, and you'll be able to see whether or not it pays dividends. We can go and search for another company right here. We'll just say McDonald's, you know, and we can check to see whether or not McDonald's pays a dividend. And there we go. Look, now we've got some numbers and we've got some information here. They've got an ex-dividend date of November 30th. So that was the last that was the last deadline date that you need to have your shares purchased to get your dividend payment. So you see that there's information and that there's numbers here. You know, we can go back to Seeking Alpha and check as well for McDonald's and see what that looks like. Here we go. We've got information right here, $1.29. So it lets you know for every one share you own, you'll get $1.29 in dividend payment from McDonald's. So that's the quick way that you can tell whether or not a company pays a dividend if you're not signed up with a brokerage. You can go to Yahoo Finance, you can go to Seeking Alpha, you can go to Google Finance, and they'll quickly tell you in that dividend section whether or not they're paying. If there's numbers and information there, that lets you know that they are paying a dividend. And if there's no numbers, if it says something like not applicable, if there's tick marks, little dashes, that lets you know that the company is not paying a dividend. All right. And so the last frequently asked question that I got last week was, how can I sign up to receive the dividend? And the really cool thing about dividend income, dividend payments, the whole dividend arena is, if a company pays them, if a company is paying their shareholders, their stock owners dividends, you automatically get it. You automatically get the dividend into your brokerage account, and there's nothing that you need to do. Now, a kind of segue to that, the next stop to that, right, is, if you want the dividends to be automatically reinvested, meaning that they'll purchase more shares of that underlying stock. So as we saw, McDonald's pays a dividend. You can take that $1.29 and have your brokerage have the account automatically set up to buy more shares of McDonald's. But the simple question, or the simple answer to how can I sign up to receive dividends, as soon as you buy shares of a company that pays dividends, you automatically get that reward. You automatically get that payment as long as you're in there before the ex-dividend date. There's nothing additional or specific or paperwork or anything you need to do on your app to get dividend payments. If the company pays them, you're getting them. All right, I really appreciate y'all for chopping it up, tuning in with me. Please, like I always say, if you have any questions, any comments, any feedback, don't hesitate to hit me up. Send me an email, send me a DM, text me if you got my numbers, leave comments, all of that kind of stuff. Like, subscribe. I really appreciate you guys. All right, peace.